want to go ahead and I want to get into that tonight. I hope to have a number of our people come up here and speak tonight as well too, so we can go ahead and definitely I want to hear what people think. People views on this right here. We know the Diddy topic is huge right now. We also know the Javion Magee, the whole situation going on about the quote unquote, the police ruled it a suicide, and the other people saying that the family, they said foul play was involved. So we want to go ahead and we want to touch up on both of those tonight. We definitely want to get everybody's point of view. We want to hear what you guys think. Professor, is any which one, of course we know what the Diddy thing. This is just popping off. But what's your thoughts on either one of them?
Well, with this Diddy thing being, I guess you could say, really in the news, like it's all over the timelines on Twitter, Facebook. You have Instagram, it's all over that. Whatever social media you own, this thing is being covered all over the place. You understand? And I'm gonna tell y'all something. This came at a time where you have a lot of political and a lot of other issues happening around us in the country, right? So it makes you wonder the timing, because we know with the United States, they like to throw things out there to throw you off, to get you away from things that you really should be talking about. And this is going to take up a lot of people's time right here. This whole Diddy storyline is going to be all over the social media. People are going to be just putting all kinds of innuendos out there. They're going to be putting all kinds of, well, I heard this, I heard that. Diddy is this, Diddy is that. How come these people were not arrested along with Diddy? I'm wondering if Diddy got a long list he's gonna put out. He's gonna snitch on everybody. See, and I know y'all seen it today. It's been all over social media today. Everybody talking about how Diddy gonna snitch on everybody. See, this is what's taking up all of our time right now on something that really don't really matter to us, really, because at the end of the day, Diddy is a celebrity. Most of us don't even know him. We never met him. I never met him. I don't know nothing about Diddy. I don't know anything about Diddy except what I see on TV. Okay? I don't know who Diddy been around. I don't know who Diddy associates with. And it's very amazing to me how people in these spaces or on Twitter or any other social media site seem to know what Diddy be doing. Like they know Diddy. Like they know what Diddy be doing this whole time. Do y'all really know Diddy? Have y'all really been around Diddy in his inner circle like that? That's what I'm talking about, y'all. And it's our people, unfortunately, that I see doing a lot of this stuff, right? All this stuff about putting stuff out there about your own people that you don't even know is true or not. And we are the only group, Total, that does this, right? I've been talking about this in spaces, in previous spaces, in your spaces, and everybody else's spaces, that we the group that don't stay on code. This is us. We like to see our people fall. Now, I'm not taking up for Diddy. Not taking up for Diddy, but I just see a trend of where our people like to see our own people fall. We get all happy when we see something happen to something within our own people. It's a disgrace, man. I can't stand it. But anyway, that's my take on it, Total. It's just taking up what it is. It's taking up what we really should be talking about, man. We got a lot of important issues going on, with police brutality, racism, always an issue, reparations, all these different issues that our family is facing, and here we are taking up all this time to deal. And our people are all out there on social media putting all kinds of stuff out there about Diddy. And happy that Diddy is locked up. See, that's what I'm talking about. You don't see other groups doing it, man. You don't see other groups doing it. You only see our people doing this kind of ignorant shit. But anyway, excuse my French, Total. That's my take on it.
All right. Like I said, we touching up on both of the topics tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and cover the Diddy topic real quick, and I'm gonna touch on the Javion Magee as well too, because both of those actual stories are actually dominating the actual news medium at this point in time, especially if we're talking about black related news. Shout out to all you guys coming up in here. I see Black Majority State. What's up, Lloyd? Long time no see. I see you up in here as well too. DJ, I see you down there in the listener section. So I'm gonna send you the co-host invite whenever you get a chance. Nita, Sassy, Tony, everybody, definitely go ahead and share this out. And we got to touch up on the Javion Magee situation as well too. Of course, they released that footage where he was in Walmart, and people say, "Oh, you see, there's the rope right there. There's the rope right there. He did it." So that's what's going on tonight. Let me first go ahead and start this thing up, the Diddy thing, because I know everybody wants to talk about that. I got to read a comment. Shout out to my man Nightfall. Shout out to my people coming in over there on YouTube. Nightfall says, makes me wonder what this is really about. Do you actually think the feds will be doing this over some black women getting ran through? I don't know, y'all. It's serious. I know once the feds set their sights on him, they came after him with no mercy. So definitely. Lloyd, I got you up in the speaker. Let me read this article real quick, and we'll get to you. If you want to speak, just go ahead and raise your hand, and we got you, Lloyd. If Lloyd looked like Lloyd may have lost, he may have got knocked down this list. Okay, he's back up. So yeah, Lloyd, let me go ahead and touch up on this article, and we'll get to you. Anybody wants to come up here, come on up here, raise your hands, and we got you guys. We got you. This is from our curation partner, Atlanta Black Star. Y'all make sure y'all visit Atlanta Black Star. Atlanta Black Star keeps you up to date with black news as well as entertainment news as well too. So definitely check out Atlanta Black Star. The title says, "Please Not Guilty. Diddy to sell private jet offers his Miami mansion and mother's home as collateral in urgent bid for release." Of course, we already know that they ain't letting him out early. So Sean Diddy Combs, 54, will officially face criminal charges after the Bad Boy Entertainment founder. Y'all let Lloyd up. After the Bad Boy Entertainment founder was taken into federal custody in New York City on Monday, September 16th. Let Lloyd up. I see he's requesting. So Professor DJ, one of y'all let him up if y'all can. Combs has reportedly pleaded not guilty after being accused of running a criminal enterprise that engaged in forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, obstruction of justice. Andre Damian Williams Jr., United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, released a statement after the arrest, and the following day, the press conference. Y'all couldn't get Lloyd up here. Let me see if I can get him up here. Lloyd, it might be your phone. Yeah, I think it looks like you can't get him up. Lloyd, it might be your phone. You may have to go ahead and restart it. Check for updates because you're having an issue getting up. So it could be your phone that you need to check for the latest update. And then once you get that, go ahead and restart it, and we'll get you back up here. On September 17th, the federal government unsealed a 3-count indictment against Sean Combs, a longtime record executive, was charged with racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. As alleged in the indictment, for years, Sean Combs used the business empire he controlled to sexually abuse and exploit women as well as to commit other acts of violence and obstruction of justice. Williams said in September 17 dated statement, Diddy has faced multiple allegations of unwanted sexual contact by numerous women and at least one man, in particular his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, accused the Harlem, New York native of physical abuse, sexual misconduct, assault, rape, and abuse that lasted nearly a decade. Regarding the indictment directly, Williams said, during the press conference, the indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused and coerced victims to fulfill their sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. In the light of new charges, Diddy's lawyer proposed a bail package in which he will pay $50,000 bond upon release, as well as sell his and his mother's homes in Miami, Florida. All four of his daughters and mom, Janice Combs, have surrendered their passports. He is already in the midst of selling his private jet despite a charter flight that traveled from Los Angeles to New Jersey on the morning of September 17th. Ventura dated Diddy from 2007 to 2018, the Me and You singer settled a 2023 Adult Survivors Act lawsuit against Combs, who paid her a healthy settlement within 24 hours of her filing last November. And May 2024, CNN released footage of Diddy physically assaulting Ventura in a hotel hallway. When a member of the hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure silence, reads a federal indictment. The U.S. government also claimed Diddy's security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other close associates have covered up his abuse. Following Cassie Ventura's civil case against Combs going public, Homeland Security investigators served search warrants on Diddy's Los Angeles and Miami homes in March. According to the indictment, law enforcement officials seized narcotics as well as so-called freak-off supplies, such as more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant from Diddy's residence. He also found firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s, each with the face serial numbers, as well as a large capacity drum magazine. As noted in Cassie's lawsuit, the feds also alleged Diddy regularly arranged freak-offs with commercial sex workers who were transported across the state and international lines. He allegedly drugged and filmed some of the victims during those sex parties without their consent. Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in Manhattan after grand jury indictment. Okay. Says Combs. Diddy was arrested in New York, where he's been since September 5th, and where TMZ reported him smiling with his family, interacting with fans approximately 30 minutes before he was arrested. That night at the Park Hyatt Hotel, he was seen hanging with several other unknown men in Midtown Manhattan on September 16. Diddy informed authorities of his domestic travel and his intent to self-surrender, but according to the outlet, Diddy's arrest was scheduled for Tuesday. However, law enforcement moved up their timeline for unknown reasons. We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office, Diddy lawyers told CNN, in defense of his client. Agnifilo, whatever the attorney's name, referred to Diddy as a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man. He also called Combs an imperfect person, but not a criminal. Not a criminal. After Cassie's four lawsuits followed with similar accusations, the bad boy founder initially denied all the allegations leveled against him. However, he eventually admitted to assaulting Cassie after the viral video was online. The 3-time Grammy Award winner addressed the violent CNN footage with an apology shared on social media. I take full responsibility for my actions on that video. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now, Combs said in a Facebook post. The veteran music mogul went on to say that he began to go into therapy and ask God for mercy. Diddy is considered a flight risk and found guilty. He could face a minimum sentence of 15 years in prison and maximum sentence of life imprisonment. Yikes. The charges are serious. The charges are very serious for him. Let me go ahead while I'm on that. Let me go ahead and touch up on the Javion Magee death investigation too. This is from the Chicago Defender, short article. It says new surveillance footage intensifies scrutiny in Javion Magee death investigation. Newly released surveillance footage is shedding light on the mysterious death of 21-year-old Javion Magee, an Illinois truck driver found dead in Vance County last week. The footage shows Magee purchasing a rope at a local Walmart the night before his body was discovered, a detail that has sparked more questions than answers. An investigation has already drawn national attention. Magee was found last Wednesday morning in a parking lot on Vanco Mill Road with a rope tied around his neck and on the other end fastened to a nearby tree. A 911 call made by a worker mowing the grass at the scene initially described the incident as suicide, but Magee's family disputes a narrative suspecting foul play. Chef Curtis R. Brown provided a timeline of Magee's final hours based on surveillance and GPS data from his delivery truck. Magee was seen entering the Hampton Inn in Henderson on the evening of September 10th. Shortly after purchasing the rope, he left the hotel minutes later, and surveillance footage shows him parking his truck near the tree where his body would be discovered the next morning. The Vance County Sheriff's Office continues to investigate the case, but authorities have yet to rule on whether Magee's death was a result of suicide or foul play. While the footage offers insight into Magee's actions the night before his death, his family members unconvinced that the circumstances point to suicide. Adding to the family's frustration is their claim that law enforcement initially told them Magee had taken his own life. Sheriff Bram, however, denied that his office made such a statement. At no point that we said this was a suicide, he clarified in a recent interview. The case has ignited public outcry and garnered national attention, with many questioning the official narrative and calling for a more transparent investigation. Henderson Mayor Melissa Elliott addressed the growing concerns in the statement, offering her condolences to the Magee family while acknowledging the racial and historical tensions that tragedies like this often evoke. As a mother of a Black son, I understand the pain and fear that comes with the loss. The South has a painful racial history, and we must seek justice and clarity in the present while we confront our past, said Mayor Elliott. She reassured the community that while the investigation falls under the jurisdiction of the Vance County Sheriff's Office, the city is closely monitoring the situation to ensure transparency and accountability. The family, alongside the community, is standing firm and is called for answers as the investigation unfolds. The Vance County Sheriff's Office is urging anyone with information to come forward. Magee's death has left the family and community in mourning, searching for justice. For them, the newly released footage is just one piece of a larger puzzle they believe will eventually reveal the truth. Magee's family has set up a GoFundMe page titled Justice for Javion. So, very tragic story that everybody's still trying to find. We still don't have any real answers to it. You heard when I read that the family was saying that they were told one thing about it being a suicide, and the sheriff denied that anybody on his side even said that. Apparently, they have not made an official ruling on it, but we see online everybody's assuming it's a suicide, especially when they saw that rope today, because people kept posting the video. People were talking about the video. Oh yeah, you see the rope right there. You see the rope that he's got and this and that. So everybody's trying to say, well, it wasn't foul play. He did this to himself. He took his own life and everything else like that because they see the rope. People also say, if you got a truck drivers are going to have ropes. They're going to have equipment. They're going to have all kind of different things in their rig, because they use a lot of this stuff as well too. So because he made a purchase of a rope, and that's how they found his body, does not mean he committed suicide as well too. So we just wanted to point that out as well too. Shout out to all you guys coming up in here. Shout out. I see us a bunch of you guys up in here. For anybody that wants to speak, tonight's topic, whether you were here from the beginning, we're talking, of course, about the Diddy situation, and we're talking about Javion Magee as well too. Magee. So those are the topics tonight. And with the Diddy situation, from my knowledge and from what I've been hearing, because I hadn't had a chance to get online for a while, I was kind of back and forth in the past couple of hours, that Diddy doesn't have a bail. He doesn't have a bail. Professor DJ, is that correct? Diddy, they didn't give him a bail, so they're not giving him a bail. They consider him a flight risk. Am I correct?
That is correct. He did not get a bail. Judge denied it because they do consider him a flight risk. The judge even stated that she don't know if he would be available to the court if they was to give him a bail or allow him to be out. Plus, she mentioned something else in court, such as these crimes are happening behind closed doors. So she was concerned, from what that sounded like to me, that he could go out and potentially do some more harm or damage. So it sounded like there was two issues there. One, she's afraid he could leave the country. Number two, there could be more crimes committed behind closed doors. So that's what it sounded like, Newstoter, from what I read.
Appreciate that, Professor. The thing that's crazy as well too is that, and I'm not saying he's innocent, he's guilty or whatever, but when we see this thing that happened when this stuff started gaining traction about 6, 7, 8 months ago or whatever, but however long ago it started gaining traction, like from the time that Cassie came out and she started talking about the abuse that he was giving her, and then a settlement came. Okay, once the settlement came, of course, I had already said, you know what, that's going to kind of be the Pandora's box. Expect whenever you have people settle in these cases like that, yeah, it's going to lead to more stuff. Sure enough, we started hearing more things, this and that, or whatever. But the damaging thing came when the video. Now, the incident between him and Cassie, I don't know how many years old that was. I think it might have been in 2018, 19, or whatever. It was at the hotel. Like all of a sudden,
16.
16. Okay. So you said it was a 2016?
Yeah, it was 2016. So we're talking about like 8 years. So that means the statute of limitation in California that ran out.
Okay. So you're saying in 2006 now, and we in 2024, 2016, 8 years later, all of a sudden this video magically finds its way. CNN has this video. Okay. We're seeing all kind of raids and stuff. When we started seeing the Homeland Security raiding his crib and whatnot, then I started thinking like, wow, like what's really going on here? Like what? Now we're talking about, they're talking about racketeering. You're talking about sex trafficking. You're talking about kidnapping, arson, bribery, obstruction of justice. They're basically saying that this dude is running an entire criminal enterprise here. Like it did not once the thing with Cassie came out, and we know the feds, once the feds get on you, the feds are investigating you for a while. Like they don't just they're not just gonna pop up and they stake out for a couple weeks or whatever. Diddy had to be on their radar for a minute, a hot minute. I'm talking about over 5-6 months. I'm talking about over a year. So they had to be watching this dude for a minute, gathering and collecting evidence to the point they felt strong enough that they could go ahead and indict him and arrest him. So exactly how did all of this stuff move so quickly? Like I'm trying to think. I have never seen anything move quite so fast in terms of getting somebody that's a public figure like him, and all of a sudden, he's in jail. I know people say R. Kelly, but I don't think the R. Kelly situation moved anything as near as fast as this right here. So that's just a little thing to me that's just a little bit like Harvey Weinstein. They had to grind him down before they really got Harvey Weinstein. It wasn't like a snap of the finger, a few months, and bam, we got you, Harvey. But this was like the speed of light right here, how quick this moved.
It was for both Kelly and for Diddy. The total, in my opinion, from what I saw with both cases, they moved about the same for the two black, meaning they moved pretty fast on them. And that's because there were people behind the scenes that were making these things move. And what I mean by people behind the scenes, we're talking about the people that own the country, okay? So we're talking about the people who are the billionaires that make the things move in this country, that wanted Diddy out the way because Diddy is another guy that could buy media, okay? Remember, anytime a black man can have potential any way to bring about media or buying media or having any kind of power in this country, they specifically target those, okay? And that's going to be the same thing with Kelly. So this is what we got to understand. You got Trump that's still running around out here, right? This is a guy that has a bunch of felonies, but he's still running, right? But you got Kelly locked up, and you got this guy, Diddy, of course, sitting in jail, gonna be sitting there until that trial happens, which that's gonna probably be over. That tells you, total, who has power in the country and who doesn't. So even as a black man that has money, you don't have power. Okay.
And again, Professor, I just want to make it clear to everybody that I'm not saying that he's innocent or he didn't do this or he didn't do that. I'm just saying in terms of how things move so quick, so fast that I've never seen things move to the point and the speed like that with it went from a settlement. Then this mysterious tape came out, and the next thing you know, like I say, you got the Homeland Security, you got all of this stuff right here. I've never seen anything move to that point at that speed. And once again, I'm not saying that he's innocent or he's guilty, anything. He deserves his day in court. So I just want to say that I'm not taking the side either way. But I'm just
none of us can say that.
Yeah.
What you're saying is really true. They move fast, and that's what I was saying. They move fast on both Kelly and Diddy. As soon as something popped off, like with Kelly, you know, when they did that, what was that? That show, that Surviving R. Kelly. It's like right after they did that, there you go. There it was, right there. They came after. Then same thing with Diddy. As soon as this thing with Cassie went down and that video came down, there you go. There's the feds. See what I'm talking about? So you can put the two together. That's what I'm saying. For both the black men, it was quick and it was like, hey, we got to get these guys now. There you go.
And Professor, while I got you on, while you up here, because we don't have any speakers at night, and everybody don't be shy. Come on up here. You guys know how we do. Let me give a shout out real quick to Robbie too for his contribution on PayPal. What's your opinion on the Javion Magee situation? Because I know, like I say, that video about the rope and everything else, people showing him at Walmart. Our sister FBA Goddess, she released she had the video on, and then of course it was a bunch of people responding to that video. It showed him at Walmart or whatever, and the people, oh well, yeah, that's the proof right there that he committed suicide and nobody did anything to him and this and that or whatever. So now we got some truck drivers up in here as well too, so they can let us know too. Black majority state, if you get a chance to come up here, let us know. I mean, we're figuring with the loads and everything that you guys have to go about and travel with, that you have to tie things down as well too. So people act like having rope or having something to tie something, to bind it, to keep something from moving like that. That, you know, that's a piece of equipment that a trucker could never have in their possession right there. I mean, what's your opinion? First off, and condolences to his family. The young man was only 21 years of age, so you know he was just, you know, really just started living his life. He had a profession as a truck driver. You know, he could have made a really, really nice living for himself, and you know he's gone, and we're still trying to figure out exactly, you know, how did this happen to the brother? You know, how was his life? How was his life lost? Was it taken? Did he do it himself or whatever? So what's your personal opinion, Professor? DJ, you up here as well too, and anybody else that's up in the space that wants to speak as well too, because we definitely want to hear what you guys got to say, especially on the Diddy situation. I want some of our sisters to come up here and tell us, because I know we've had spaces on the Diddy situation. We had them a few months ago when we talked about it. So I want to hear what you guys got to say as well too. Don't feel free to come on up here. You guys know we're gonna give you the microphone and let you go, but what's your situation? What's your feeling on this situation right here, Professor? Because with the Javion Magee thing, you know, it just kind of, it's one of those things, man, that people are just kind of, you know, we just don't know. You know, it's just we want more answers, and you know, and the cops at this point, they're not really sharing all the information. It seems like, to be honest.
Let me say, in reference to the vote, I go to Walmart myself sometimes to get rope, okay? And it does not mean that I'm going to get it to go do something to myself, to hang myself. That does not prove anything. So when you see a young man or someone going into a store to go get some rope, that does not mean or prove they're going to go hang themselves. Unless that person leaves behind, told her, some kind of letter or a note stating I'm going to go hang myself. See what I'm saying? And from what I can tell, they have not said anything about a note or a letter being left behind saying he's going to go hang himself, right? Has anybody heard anything about that? I know I haven't.
I haven't. Normally you have some kind of note left behind or something, but I haven't heard anything about it either. No.
So here's the thing about the rope, y'all. Any of us in here can go into Walmart and get some rope, because we might need some rope for something around the house that we need to tie down, or it might be something like that. Black majority, of course, is a truck driver, so you know he'll come up here, I'm sure, at some point, and he'll talk about that. But I'm sure truck drivers have to sometimes have something they might have to tie down, they have to buy straps or whatever, that they might have to tie something down when they're carrying loads. So I just don't believe that sheriff can just sit there and tell the public, oh, well, we got a video of him going in the store and he's buying rope and everything others. That's crazy. You can't go with that. The family deserves more investigation. They deserve more answers. I really believe the reason why they're trying to come up with this fast answer, total, is that they're trying to hide something, because you can't just run with this story that because he was at Walmart, that means he hung himself, buying because he also broke from Walmart. So that's my take on that. It needs to be more details, more investigation done, so we can truly find out what happened to Javion.
Real talk, Lloyd. I see we got you up here. Your phone straight, Lloyd. What's going on with you tonight? You want to speak?
Yeah, hey, how you doing, Newstoter?
Hey, what's up now?
Yeah, a couple of things. This is all very bizarre, but especially Javion. It would seem to me, and again, I don't have any of the facts. I'm not privy to inside circles, but it seems to me that I just in my gut feel like he stumbled upon something in his travels that, or he moved a load or something that exposed a lot of folks that don't need to be exposed, because it's not making any sense. If someone's going to commit suicide, usually a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, you see a change in their demeanor. And his family is not saying, we noticed that he was a little depressed, or he was not hearing that. There's no, like the professor said, there's no note. Conveniently, they have this tape of him getting some rope, but nothing else. Other than the truck was found near, apparently, the tree that he would supposedly use. I mean, it's too convenient. You understand what I mean? And I know
Oh yeah.
Conspiracy, but do you understand what I mean? It's just too, like, nobody noticed anything. Does that make? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So on that one, I don't have enough facts, but my spirit is telling me there's more to this. Don't know what it is, but there's more to it. I mean, when someone commits suicide, a family usually tries to minimize the damage unless they know they didn't commit suicide. There were no indications. Does that make any sense to anybody but me?
Well,
That makes sense.
yeah, I'm just, like I say, I'm just, and I think one of our people, I think Nightfall on YouTube was saying that, generally, and I know every case is different, but generally, when Black people commit suicide, rarely, unless they have no other option and no other any other object to use, rarely do they hang themselves.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's just too simple. It's too compact. It's too, now we can move on. That boy stumbled up onto something. Maybe he found out that his company he works for is, running drugs across the country. I don't know. But it doesn't fit with me. I don't know. Now, on the Diddy situation, there's a man out there. His name is Ian Carroll. Don't know too much about him, but white guy. He posted, and I said, it was sent to you, Toto. You have under the purple pill or something. You have the 2 videos that he's put out, and I saw them. He's got receipts of stuff. I don't know where he got this stuff from, but he's got receipts of stuff. And apparently, Diddy has been building his own dossier on everybody. And it apparently goes higher than Clive, up and beyond Clive Davis. So apparently he's got video of other celebrities, politicians, business people at these freak off parties. Okay, and all kinds of stuff going on. That's what this guy has put out in these videos. And it makes perfect sense to me because, if you look at who Clive Davis is, Clive Davis was Janis Joplin's, brought in Janis Joplin, brought in Whitney Houston, brought in, worked with Phyllis Hyman, worked with Michael. And look at where all those people are. And all of those people died when their careers were not hot. So you're like, it's almost like you're worth more dead than you are alive because we can regenerate your sales. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Now I'll say this right here, Lloyd. And I haven't had a chance to see the video. Like you say, it's in the Purple Pill, so I have to check it out. But I'll say this right here: Clive Davis is one of the most powerful men in entertainment. And if you're talking about trying to get info and being able to basically blackmail, people like that, and even if you're saying what he's saying, politicians and stuff like that, then you got to be really, really careful.
Well, I'll tell you what. When they put out that Diddy was jovial and meeting with family and friends 30 minutes before he died, the first thought that went through my head was a vision of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. How right before they were killed, they were very calm and very peaceful and okay. And think about Jeffrey Epstein. Had all this dossier on everybody, showed up dead. So, and again, and y'all know me, I am not a conspiracy theorist, but I know that Diddy is not the big fish in this game. He knows way too much stuff. He's not the big fish. It's somebody. So maybe they're going to take him out. Maybe he threatened somebody to say, "I got all this stuff." Because why would, first of all, why would he feel comfortable staying in the country? Russell Simmons didn't. Russell Simmons said, "We don't have a treaty with Bali. I'm in Bali," and he's never come back to the country. Now, I'm not saying that Russell Simmons is guilty or innocent. I'm saying he was smart enough to say, you know what, I'm a black man in America, and they always bring you down with this sex stuff, so I'm out of here. Then he could have done that. Why was he? What made him feel that he was untouchable? Unless he knew he had no place to run. Or that they weren't going to snatch him. And then why would they agree to let him turn himself in? Now, all the news is saying that he moved to New York so that he could turn himself in when they called for him. And then they sped up the timeline to arrest him publicly. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, because they were supposed to let him turn himself in, and all of a sudden, they went ahead and they pushed up the actual time, which, normally when they tell somebody you can turn yourself in, they allow that, but they decided to go ahead and push it up in his case.
Right, and he moved to New York his attorney said he moved to New York specifically so he'd be available to turn himself in on the day they asked him to come in. So like I said, Diddy is the sacrificial lamb. This is not about, in my opinion, this is not about a black man getting whatever. This is about somebody has to fall on the sword. And I think it started with Cassie having that video. Maybe, you know what I mean? Diddy is big, but he is
the video, and I spoke about it earlier. I don't know if you was in here, Lord, but the video itself, and like I said, and I'm just for content purposes, I'm just letting everybody know I'm not saying he was innocent or guilty, anything. The video itself is a hard one to explain. And I know that if something isn't destroyed, it can still stick around. But that video was lost for how long? I know Professor said like 2016 or 17 or whatever. And then all of a sudden, 7-8 years later, the video pops up. CNN has the video. And, and that's not to justify, because he was dead wrong for what he did to the girl on that video. So I just want to let nobody's condoning that. Nobody's sitting up here saying that he was dead wrong for what he did to her. But I'm just trying to figure out that how, after that long, would that video still be in circulation, especially somebody that's supposed to have money, power, and clout like him? You think he would have got his hands on the video, destroyed it, whatever, but no, CNN in turns has the video. So that's the part that just kind of baffles me about that as well, too.
Well, because again, I don't think this is about Diddy. I think it's a smoke screen to cover something else. Like Professor said, they don't want us looking at something else. But when this Ian Carroll mentioned Clive Davis, and Diddy was apparently Diddy was mentored by him at some point. You know all the dirt, and then they were talking about how Diddy's chief of security, Diddy hired him. The boy was 20, and was before he got hired by Diddy, he was Michael Jackson's chief of security. Now, how does a 21-year-old, nothing to my young sisters, nothing bad, but at 21, how do you become chief of security for Michael Jackson if there's not some stuff in the game?
Yeah, that should be impossible. That should be impossible.
Yeah, I'm saying that watch those videos. Watch those videos. Now, he does make a reference to Candace Owens, and I'm not a big fan of Candace, but apparently she's put out she's done some sort of documentary that proves that Mike do what they claim Michael did with those kids. And I'd be like, okay, a documentary that says he did not do that coming from Candace Owens, that's interesting. But like I said, my point is, I don't think this is about Diddy. I think he's being used to deflect from people higher up. And I would not be surprised if he doesn't. In 2 months, he's no longer with us. Because there's a reason why they're not giving him bail.
Real talk, Lloyd. Real talk. Thank you, Lloyd. Let me go ahead and get to we got a couple of the sisters up here, so I'm definitely we got Aunt Lai and we got the Real Male Crew. So I definitely want to hear what these sisters got to say. Aunt Lai, go ahead. You got it. How you doing tonight?
These Black Power and reparations. I'm gonna try to make this short and sweet as possible. I know that's hard for me, so bear with me. In regards to the video, the only thing the video shows is that he purchased the rope. Now, again, I haven't been on social media as much, and I haven't. I've heard a little bit about this case, but just because you purchase something doesn't mean you are intended to harm yourself. And the fact that law enforcement, I know law enforcement is as competent as they come, is coming to that conclusion is ridiculous, because you could go to somebody, you could break into somebody's house and hang them with the ropes that they got in their own house, and then say, oh, well, they killed themselves because the ropes belong to them. That is the stupidest shit I've ever heard of in my life. Excuse my French. It's the stupidest stuff I've ever heard of in my life. It doesn't make any sense. One doesn't equal the other one. You tell me they got cameras all over the place, and they don't have a camera of him supposedly. No. And there's a target. I've been telling people this for the longest. There is a target that Black people are targeted by y'all know who, for y'all know what purposes. And the target is several different phases. It's the white men who date Black women and cut them up. Then you have the quote unquote the soldiers, the young boys between the ages of 15 to 25 who do these mass shootings so that they can target individuals that go into the churches, Buffalo, New York, and go to certain areas to try to target certain individual people. And then it's the people who've been unalive and been hanged. This is not the first time that a Black man has been hung under mysterious circumstances, and law enforcement is already ready to go with it being suicidal, because they ain't on what's supposed to be done. So please understand that what's happening to him is something that we all need to be aware of. We all need to keep our eyes open and watch when we're out on the road and things of that nature, because we know we have a target on our back. If we have any common sense, we would know that we've had a target on our back consistently since 1619, especially since 1865. Ever since they quote unquote tended to lie and said they freed us. In regards to the Diddy situation, Now, I believe he should have left. Like the young man just said before, I don't know why he stayed. He stayed, he got whatever he was going to get because he should have been out. He had enough money to have been out. He's stupid for staying. That's all I'm saying. He get whatever he get. Whatever they do to him, they're going to do to him because he put himself in that position to let it happen. Now, I don't like talking about black people in a negative light. I'm not going to talk about this topic in any because I feel like they want black people to, black American freedmen to disrespect and say this about him and say that about him. Because if they can't put him on bail, but you have a convicted felon who was walking around here supposedly running for president, is convicted, I believe New York is New York. So how can a person who's and once you're a convicted felon, they handcuff you right then and there and don't let you get sentenced. So how can you be convicted, go through your trial, but you're still free? He want, you know what I mean? He want to see what it is. He see what it is now. With his case, whether his guilt or innocence, I believe that he thought he was a black man with money, and the people in a position of power wanted to corrupt him. That's what white people do to black people since the beginning of time. They come to us and try to corrupt us. They want in our culture. Black people is the ish. We are the life of the party. We are everything. They see this person with power, and the only reason why they think or they try to persuade you into thinking that you are in their clique or their club, I'm putting up my air quotes, is because they want to mess them up. They're only dirtying you up so that they can use it against you. And he allowed himself to be dirty because you have people who, if you look at certain people, that why their careers never made it, because they wasn't willing to sell them souls. And they wasn't willing to sell their people. Because he did sell his soul and sell his people, he's finding out what happens to him when, you're a tool. You're no longer needed. You're discarded. But he put himself in that position because he wanted to talk about this black man and black power. But when the position came in, he allowed them to corrupt him because he didn't have to be corrupt. We've seen plenty of people, like as soon as Jennifer Hudson won the Oscar, she said she got 15 scripts when she was butt naked. And she didn't want to take them. And they do these things. They tempt you with we give you all the riches in the land. We'll give you this. And you know what? Some people choose to, and this is a lesson that some people won't have to learn. They're going to have to learn the hard way. If you want to go down that road, cool, you can go down that road. But best to believe, what happened to him happened to plenty of people. And once they get upset with you, they're going to make the narrative however they want to make the narrative. Because the fact that, again, these RICO charges, and I'm not going to say some of the stuff is voluntary or some of the stuff, but again, I've never smoked marijuana, but I know about people who smoke marijuana. And if you have somebody who has drugs and it's free and you're giving it away, I'm going to hang out with you. You're you got sex? Hey, I'm going where the sex is if I want to do the sex stuff. But now all of a sudden, those people who facilitated and made sure that it was available across state lines, now that person is an issue. Now, I'm not saying what he forced on people and the things of that nature, because I don't know. I was there. I don't go to Diddy parties. You got to tell him no, because he's my Cat William voice. I'm just saying, he put himself in this position by being tempted with the riches of the land and selling himself and selling his soul out, and that's what happened. As black people, we need to stand back and stand by because they want us to be the first ones to say this, and this. Dan Snyder is out there who had a child with Jamie Lynn Spears when she was a minor, and they don't do theirs like that. Puffy is a black man in America with the American justice system. If they want to find him guilty, they're going to throw him under the jail. They don't need none of us posting on social media about how he needs to burn and wherever he needs to burn or wherever he needs to do. Because if he was doing the things that he was doing, you can't tell me that nobody in a position of power who was giving him money, who was signing contracts with him, wasn't aware of it. Don't just tell me a black man from Harlem, New York, all of a sudden he got all this power, he was invincible. No, he was invincible to y'all because y'all didn't want to charge him. Y'all didn't want to hold him accountable. He was good because he was getting you the access to the black culture because he was giving you the door through hip-hop. You was buying his clothes and you bought Sean John from him. You was able to do all those things and you had access to the black community. And when he became a threat to the white supremacy. I don't know who he pissed off and however he did it, but then this person became an issue. But they had the dirt on you because you gave it to them. Because I don't know about you, but after Cassie had dropped her little lawsuit, baby, I'm burning my videotapes. Why would you keep, like, it's like people do stuff to themselves. You can burn your videotapes if you're not you're not being investigated. You just had a civil suit, you started it in 24 hours. Burn, baby, burn. Like, I don't understand who's teaching these people how to be criminals, baby. But you're supposed to get rid of the evidence. You keeping the evidence for what? Or you supposed to have the evidence someplace where they can't get it? How you gonna have the baby order lined up? 1 bottle, 2 bottle, 3 bottles, 4 bottle. I hate to say some people do this themselves, but I don't understand why you wasn't in some body somewhere chilling. Because Asada Shakur is chilling right now. I'm not saying he deserved whatever he get, because I hate to see a black man get down, but when you chose to sell your soul and sell your people, these are the things that happen. The only thing that we should be saying to other black people is, this is why you don't sell your people out. This is why you don't have people access to our culture. Because when they want us, Malcolm X said it, they'll use one of us just to say it was one of us. Now they want black people to sit there and talk, but I ain't got nothing bad to say about fuck. Take that. I ain't got nothing to say. Because, again, the white man going to find him guilty. They're going to make sure they throw him under the jail. Trust and believe, black people are in prison right now for crimes they didn't even commit. So if they want to find him guilty, trust and believe, their court of law going to find him guilty. They don't need none of us advocating for nothing. If he did whatever he did to those victims, that's between him and those victims. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Because people want to say, well, oh, it was so bad, it was this. You don't know what was what. You don't know what was made up. You don't know what they put him up to. Because when I called the FBI with the public officials and all the crimes that I got evidence for, they told me, why am I calling them? So I believe they go after who they want to go after for the purposes of what they want to go after them for. So take that. And I'm not going to disrespect or say nothing bad about a black man. I feel like he should have sold his people out. But whatever role he paid, he going to have to deal with that, however he deal with it. I'm going to dock my vote for my chair. Now, I can keep talking. I'm about to say, I can keep talking.
Yeah, I told him might be in the Matrix. I don't know. Well, I know Only Male Cruz is there. Only Male Cruz.
I'm out there, y'all. Shout out to the room. My bad. I'm over here getting like a million texts. But yeah, go ahead, Sister Live. If you want to talk, or go ahead.
She's in there.
Up there with y'all real quick. My bad. I'm over here doing like multiple things.
Hey, Only Male Cruz, you ready?
Yeah, go ahead now.
Yeah. Trusted news from a trusted source. $Newstoter. Shout out to the room. Hey, this couple things. So with Javion Magee, we might as well just stop playing right here in the middle and acting like we're still trying to figure it out. We know what the hell it was. And so let's don't even stop where they're telling us to stop at. Let's just keep taking it straight to the middle. We know we know brother did not unalive himself. It's cute that you got the rope. It's giving me that, somebody said, hey, go pick this rope up for me, would you? That way when they decided to do what ended up happening, they could come back and say, well, look, he was in Walmart whistling Dixie and whatnot. So, let's don't even be distracted or sidetracked with, trying to figure out how you write a capital in a small letter A. We know what it is. All of these other Black Americans, at least from the past, I want to say 10 years, where they have been found hanging. I know one in particular in California, where they've been found hanging, and it was rendered as intentional unaliving of oneself, and that's just BS. So, but because there's whatever, we're not fighting or we're not pushing or I don't know what the hell, but it's being stated that that's what it is, and we're just leaving it at that. So that's a problem. Javion did not do this to himself. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to buy that one. And then with the Diddy thing, that's the sad part, because I was reading something. I did put something in Jumbotron, But I was reading something. I was trying to read a little bit of the transcripts that are all over the place, and there's something that's kind of similar to R. Kelly's situation, where, like for Kells, they put, they considered it trafficking because a willing individual went across state lines with him, and it was based on the person's age. That they said, "Oh, you're trafficking because you took this person across state lines." Because they had one of the girls. This is in the Kells situation, because one of the girls gave Kells oral sex. They called that forcible labor. So ain't that cute? You essentially calling her a whore. So I know they've got some stuff like that in Diddy's case. Some of those kind of charges. And I agree wholeheartedly with Governor Anla about, not speaking negatively of the man. But if we really take a look at bro's history, it's really not hard to figure out. I mean, that just, that's what it was. But I think the thing that really got this thing kicked off, and there's been some videos, shout out to Sean David Way on YouTube. He did a video a couple, 3-4 months ago where Diddy got into it with the people that owned one of the alcohols he was repping, and they cut him out the deal, and Diddy didn't like that, so Diddy called himself going to file some discrimination charges, etc. That's when let me use Black's phrase. That's when that can of whoop ass came open, and everything went to hell in a handbasket. That videotape of the situation going on with Cassie, the day after that incident went down, I read that Diddy paid that hotel for the footage. And so since Diddy didn't go down there immediately after it stopped and just swipe up all the equipment and get the tape himself, somebody provided him that tape. And whoever provided him that tape damn sure retained a copy of it for themselves. And Cassie may very well have came through there and, secured some of these things as well. So I don't think Diddy was slipping. He just got played in that tape somehow being made available. And then with the lawsuit that Cassie claimed and said, hey, look, I'm going to file the suit. And if you settle with me, then, I'll go with the settlement. That's what that $30 million came in at. But, if the state wants to pick up charges, they can move right on along with it. And there were so many things inside that lawsuit that Cassie filed initially that there was no way for the state not to take action. And did Cassie help it along? Sure. She got paid and Diddy got played. So that's just, my point. I land.
Can I rebuttal real quick?
Go ahead, you got it.
In regards to the video of him beating her in the hotel, to my knowledge, it was the police had that in their possession because they got it from his house. So you can see how dirty law enforcement is because the fact that was released to the public. That they only had one videotape that he paid 50 G's for the hotel for, and Diddy had that. Several months later, after his house was raided, that means someone in law enforcement released evidence. But they're going to have the nerve to charge somebody else with RICO. Like, that don't even make sense. Right. Another thing I wanted to say in regards to Puffy, in regards to, damn, I hate it, I'm getting old. I don't remember something you said. But in regards to him, I'm old. I forgot. I'm running for governor. It just in my head.
Interrupt me if it comes back.
Bonds.
Interrupt me if it comes back, but here's the thing. What we don't know in particular is they may have got that tape. The police may have gotten that from their as a result, or that could have been turned over to them, and then they ended up releasing it. But either way, Diddy paid for the tape, and you're right. If they got it because they got it out of through the raid, then Diddy, he should have destroyed it. But I'm believing that somebody else had a copy of that and let it leak, or they furnished it along with it. And then let's also take this into consideration. Cassie's husband, because she was with Diddy when she was building the relationship with Cassie's current husband. So and he is a, what I'm saying, he's not melanated. So I would not be surprised if he came up with okay, step one, go through all of this stuff and do this, do that, do this, do that. This is all while she still had full reign of where Diddy stays and all of that. So, I mean, none of this is an accident. We'll put it like that. And, but look, like I said, you had Shine take the case for you. He took that for you. Allegedly, you had your hand in on, Tupac getting up out of here or Biggie getting up out of here. So, how far back does this thing go? But I do also agree with what you said too, about, how is a man running for president of the United States, a convicted, Blase scoop, but yet y'all gonna keep Diddy on lockdown? Who knows? This shit is, totally. This crap is crazy than a mug. So, Elaine.
I did want to say in regards to the evidence, because you was talking about it came back, but damn, I'm old. In regards to the complaint, when you file a complaint in regards to, when you file a complaint, you put everything in there. The state can pick it up, but if they don't have any evidence, they can't run with it. And my thing is, they had a target on him, but he let himself be a target, because if you bought a $50,000 tape that shows you do something heinous, why wouldn't you destroy it? Like, common sense ain't common. I'm going to buy the tape, make sure I have the only copy, and then I'm going to destroy it so nobody can use it against me. But I'm going to destroy it right when I get the tape. There's a lot of stuff that's done that's like, he got a lot of things, I believe, that he kept as insurance for something else. Because if you stupid enough to stay here, if you stupid enough to keep evidence against yourself, you're doing it just to, it's some other stuff. And they got him in prison, so if they want to unalive him and say that he committed suicide, they can do that as well.
I mean, it can, and like I said, your point is clear. And I think if that tape that he confiscated were sexual in nature, it would make sense that he would have kept it, because it's Diddy doing that frequency. You know what I'm saying? So this tape, that's why I think somebody else went on ahead and submitted that. And bear in mind, the other allegations made, and I can't remember, with the other lawsuit where the guy actually has one. Okay, the tape with what's supposed to be Diddy and Meek Mill getting it in. Okay, Diddy didn't, to my knowledge. I mean, I'm just saying, so there's other people that have stuff. They're saying that, I think it was the bodyguard or somebody that was reporting. When you read how that guy came across that tape, that was beyond Diddy's control, how that tape ended up being made. And then you look at where they're showing that, I guess they're trying to say allegedly that Stevie J was in one of the, and they got that video where Stevie J was in one of the things where they was trying to get him to kick it with, what's my girl's name? JT's, what's that girl? Y'all know, Carisha, please, her cousin. Supposedly they was trying to make a deal because Carisha's cousin didn't want to get down with the get down, but they enticed him and they had CBJ and they're trying. You got all that. That's reported. That's even included in in the allegations. So all of it was not within Diddy's control to ensure certain things did not get out. And again, that's so they're going to have a field day bumping up extra charges. But I know when I came in the room, Professor was trying to, Professor was bringing up R. Kelly, and, these are just really, in my view, they're really like two different situations, because Diddy went far and wide. That's what I'm saying. This is not no trip up. This was action Diddy was trying to go down, which, I mean, that's what he wanted to do, apparently. So anyway, let me land there.
Hey, real quick, everybody, I'm back. So I just want to let y'all know. But thank y'all for DJ Professor for holding it down. I may have to make another run in a little bit as well, too, guys. Another call. So if so, then y'all just hold it down for me. But I'm not sure who was next. So y'all go ahead and order the room and get it right.
I was just gonna say, right quick, family, in reference to Aunt Live, what she said about the video. the video was actually made reference in the indictment, which means, like what she said, law enforcement had that video when they went and raided his home. I think, what was it, like California? That was the one I think they went to and got the. So that's where the video came from. And if you notice in the indictment, they made reference to that video. So the law enforcement are the ones that put the video on, which is dirty. By the way, very dirty. But also, she made reference to something else, because me and her both always talk about this in these spaces, is that we need to stop talking about black people in these spaces when this type of stuff come up, because we the only group that does that type of stuff. So me and her are the only ones that speak on that. I would not talk about black Americans in these spaces trying to dirty them up. Like now, Diddy, I'm not taking up for him, but I'm not going to dirty him in a space and in public like what I see black Americans. And I can't say it's all black Americans. It's blacks in general there. Let me just put it that way. I see blacks all over this space dirtying up this dude's name like they know him. Like they all up in this inner circle. You don't know Diddy like nobody knows this man.
I personally agree with that. But when you listen, if you're going to have a real conversation, you got to at least deal with the facts. Like, for example, you and Governor Laws sitting here talking about where you guys think the tape stemmed from, where it came from. So, I guess it all decides on, what you deem as speaking negatively about a black man in a space, and or what you deem actually getting, discussing the details of what in fact happened. It's too bad. It's too bad. But if any of this is true, then what? And then, like I said, if I ain't mad at you if that's how y'all feel about it. And I don't think we're speaking at this point. I don't think I've heard anything spoken negatively about it. I think we just discussed the facts that are being distributed as the days go on, and there's probably more to come. But if I don't know, do you think, Professor, do you think this is speaking negatively of Diddy? Just simply.
Oh no, not you, man. Not you, man.
This is facts. They want us to say, "Oh, F that black man, lock him up," and the negative, like to put that energy out there. When the white man do it, Dan Snyder literally had a baby with Jamie Lynn Spears when she was like 16. He was raping everybody and their mama up at Nickelodeon. And there's no indictment for him. Charlie Sheen was out here giving out the package and raping little boys like it was going on his past.
Let's say allegedly for the SpaceX.
Corey Feldman, Corey Hyman, to the point where Corey right now look like the Walking Dead, walking around here crazy, talking about guess who raped me. Nothing happened to Charlie Sheen. He's still making movies. He got Tiger Blood and giving out the package like it's going out of style. So what I'm saying is we can discuss the facts about it. There's nothing wrong with talking about black topics with black Americans. We have the right to talk about what happens and how we deal with things. But as far as I'm saying, they want us to be like, oh, I hope he died. I'm not going to put that energy out there. That's a black man. And I see a black man who lost his way in a major way. But that's what happened when you sell your soul and you sell your people. But that's what I mean when I talk about the energy, as far as the people, like, oh, they have more venom for him than they do a convicted rapist who running for president. They have more venom for him than they do, you know what I mean? The white supremacy in the system and everything they've done. They want to pray and forgive and forgive and forgive the white man, but when it comes to the black person, throw him under, because that's like the overseer and the slavery. The overseer did black people dirty. Now the master is getting to the overseer, and they want the slaves in the field to go ahead and talk about the overseer and do. Nah, that you handle your boy. That's your boy. We know that if Diddy is guilty of any of these charges, he's going to get more than his just deserved. Trust and believe they will build a new jail with his money, take his money from him, take his money and his legacy from his family, and build a new jail just to put him in it. He is going to get whatever this quote-unquote system is going to give him. So for black people to put that energy into it is pointless, because you know, they don't really care about us. They saying he a threat to the, he ain't no more threat to the public than Trump.
Real quick, let me get to Black Majority State, because he got his hands up here, and then we'll move it back around and get to Lloyd and everybody else that hasn't had a chance to speak as well too. Guys, make sure y'all share this space out tonight as well too. Make sure y'all share this space out. And one thing too, I want people to the media itself, they're going to be talking about this, you know, for the longest, but I still, you know, we still got to do our best to try to keep the young man, Javion, that lost his life. We need to keep that up in the news cycle as well, as much as possible as well too, guys, because, you know, we don't really know exactly what happened with this young man. So as much attention as and I want to go ahead and have this space and have both of these topics in tonight. I want to make sure that we can do our best to try to keep this young man's name in the news cycle till we can actually find out exactly what happened to him, how his life was taken or lost or whatever. So I want to go ahead and keep that pressure and keep it on tonight. We free to speak about what we want to tonight, but when we leave this space, I just want us to know to go ahead and try to keep his name as much as possible. We know we see so many of these stories that happen so much, so often. That's why I post so many different stories and stuff online. You know, some of the racial issues you see with Black people having day in and day out at the schools and this and that and everything else like that as well too. So let's make sure for as much attention as we're going to give Diddy. We know Diddy is a huge star. He's been a star for the past 25, 30 years. Let's make sure the people that are not stars as well too, that, you know, they're remembered and we can go ahead and keep their stories out there in front of everybody in America as well too, and the world as well too, guys. But go ahead, Black Majority State, you got it.
Okay, and shout out to the space, you know, Newstoter, Professor, DJ, all the folks in space, Only Mel Cruz, Governor on Law. Shout out to the governor of New Jersey, of course. You know, this is a hard story, being a truck driver, of course, and this young man is very close in age to my son. So when I first heard about it, it was kind of heartbreaking, to be real honest. I've been on the road. I've slept in truck stops. I've slept in rest areas. I've slept on the side of the road. I've slept at consignees or warehouses, and I've slept in truck lots and all of that. And so it is always very dangerous to kind of be making these cross-country trips and be alone and be in a truck out in the middle of nowhere and tired, and, you know, sometimes you're forced to pull over where you wouldn't necessarily want to. So it's a very dangerous career just from that perspective, not including all of the traffic issues and everything else that's involved in it. But, you know, I watched the video multiple times of him in Walmart. He's jovial. He might be singing, to be quite honest. As he's coming out of the store, he's kind of skipping a little bit. He tosses the rope up in the air in the last frame of that video. I didn't see any signs of depression or anything that would lead me to believe, and I can say that from experience because I suffered from a very traumatic incident where I did hear voices and I attribute it to the devil telling me to kill myself. People don't love you and things of that nature. And it was very clear. It was crystal clear, as clear as my voice is right now. So that is a very different demeanor and than what I saw from this young man. And, you know, I looked at the rope. I went to Walmart's site. I tried to gauge what the tensile strength of the rope is. It looks like it's more or less a household product that one would use to maybe hang clothes or something that nature. That doesn't look like it has any real commercial application in trucking. The thing about trucking is you need these very heavy duty straps, bungee cords, and they sell all of that inside of truck stops for the most part, or the company supplies it. So I'm assuming, without knowing any further details, that this was for some use that he had that was not necessarily trucking related. Because again, it looked like it's some type of nylon based rope.
people gave good reviews of it for whatever use they had. Someone said they used it to hang a swing and other things. But it just doesn't look like it's really going to tie down anything in a truck. And I don't know if he drove flatbed, but flatbed is like the level of securement in flatbedding. Ropes will never cut it. You're going down the road at 60, 70 miles an hour, wind speeds. So you need real securement. And if it was flatbedding, if it's in a van, they have low bars, which are metal, heavy metal, hardened metal, or they have these straps that are, they can hold back a car. Matter of fact, I drove my car from North Carolina to Pennsylvania multiple times with these straps, and that just didn't look like it was going to do anything at that level. So, I hope, the thing that I'm really frustrated about is that the official version sounds like pure garbage, pure trash, pure crap. It happened too fast. It's too clean. It almost looks like a scripted Hollywood, SUV episode, in which they give you this initial narrative, and then they turn around and they do more investigation, and you find out it's the local sheriff who was involved in it or something like that. That's the kind of vibe that I get from the way that they're putting out this information. But prayers to his family. I hope they do continue to go forward. The description that I read was that he was up against a tree, and this rope was what was used, but that because there wasn't a knot in the rope and there wasn't a noose or a knot in the rope, the official categorization of that is that if there's not a knot in the rope, that it does not officially count as a lynching. In other words, this is a very technical definition, which is why these laws in this country are never, ever, ever, ever going to benefit us in any comprehensive or significant way, because the system is always looking for ways to get these people out of the full punishment that these laws may suggest that they would be subject to, because you have a technicality where it has to be a knot and it has to be tied a certain way. That's a whole nother tragedy. But it is a representation of this country, the system, and how they play with our lives. The other story, I want to say this because no one's mentioned it. He was facilitating the Vote or Die campaign, and really like a parade leader, a band leader for Black Americans to continue to vote for the Democrat Party in many, many ways. And that was a very successful campaign during Obama's administration, or even with him running the first time. And it made him cool to the youth and those who are slightly older. I think it did a lot to help his campaign in many ways. And if there's any karma to be had, and prayers for all the victims, prayers for all my sympathy goes to the victims of whatever this person was involved in. But he victimized Black America through that Vote or Die campaign. And for that, I could never forgive an individual who was in that position with that wealth and that much influence to simply lead our people to the slaughter politically in the way that he did during that time period. But I'll just end with that.
All right. Thank you, Black. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Lloyd. Lloyd, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah. I've been listening to everybody, and it dawned on me that the conversation with regard to Diddy is playing into the narrative they want us to buy into. And I hear everybody, both sides, everybody's position, but we're buying into the narrative, because their narrative, because what we haven't done, and I'm going to upset some people with this, is we haven't defined what a victim is. So let me tell you what I mean by that. So clearly, Diddy's freak-off parties were no secret. Everybody knew. So if you get an invitation to a party at Diddy's house at 11 o'clock at night, let me see. You know what goes on there, and you go and you get involved. Are you a victim when it hits the media? All of a sudden, you become a victim. Like with Bill Cosby, the woman with Bill Cosby. That woman went to his house at 9 o'clock at night, knowing that his wife wasn't there. No, she was out of town, but she's a victim. Desiree, whatever her last name, Washington, Mike Tyson, shows up at his door at 2 o'clock in the morning, his hotel room, 2 o'clock in the morning in a negligee. But she's a victim. So we have to begin, before we can have this conversation, we need to start defining terms. What is a victim? And what is a sex trafficker? Because, if 17-year-old goes across state lines and shows up at your party, that person knows what they're there for, why they're there. That little boy, I don't remember, I don't know his name, but the boy that played Hakeem in Empire. Have you heard what he's putting out there now? How he got that part in Empire? No, how'd he get it?
No.
Apparently, Will Smith and somebody else were, let's just say, mentoring him in the ways of Hollywood. That's what he's claiming. Will Smith and somebody else. So I'm saying, you make choices to get where you want to go and to get what you want. Like the Only was saying, you sell out for the riches of the land, or maybe it was for the riches of the land. That does not make you a victim. And we have to start looking at all of the participants and in these situations and what role they play. Because if you want to get next to the king, and these are the things that you have to do to get next to the king, and you choose to do them, that doesn't make you a victim. How does somebody come into my house if I'm Bill Cosby, and Bill Cosby's reputation was out there? Everybody knew it. There've been rumors. I mean, I don't even live in Hollywood or in that world, but I had heard about it. Okay, so why are you going to his house at 9 o'clock at night knowing his wife is not there? What, you're just a dumb blonde? What is it? You see what I'm saying? I mean, if we want to stop this happening to our people, then we have to begin looking at the story they're telling. And it can't just be, they're doing this to a black man. They're doing this to a black man. No, how are they doing it to a black man? And we immediately hear the word victim. And the first thing we have to say is that, I stand with victims, or I'm sorry to the victims, all this stuff. Are you a victim? I mean, think about this. And this is kind of unrelated, but it's just about our mentality as a people. We hear about first responders and how brave they are, and when a police officer gets killed, we have to shut down the world, and it's so sad or whatever. Here's the thing: they raise millions of dollars for these people that are killed. These people are paid like twice what the average American makes, with overtime and all this other stuff. They're making $100,000. If you're a cop in a major city and you're not making $125,000 a year, there's something wrong with you. So, but the way it's explained to us, the way that we bought into, is that we pay homage to our heroes, and they were doing this out of the goodness of their heart, and all this. I'm getting a lot of trouble for saying this. My house might get firebombed, God forbid, tonight. But there's something wrong to me. There's something wrong with the person that wants to be a police officer. Because basically, that's the most narcissistic job you could have, because you're telling me that you know what's right and wrong better than I do. Just think about that. What kind of person would become a police officer? It gives you the same power that that a criminal has, except you are now under cover of law. Now, I'm not saying all police officers are bad, but I'm just saying, think about the mentality that you have to have. And we don't talk about that. We don't talk about victimization and what's real victimization. It's one thing for someone to put a gun to your head or to drug you and duct tape you and all this stuff and take you to some far off place and do all kinds of crazy things to you. And that's quite different from you knocking on somebody's door and say, I'm here for a party. And then go write a book or sell it to the media. I mean, think about this. Kim Kardashian is Kim Kardashian because of what? A sex tape. If she had not done that tape and it wasn't put out, she would not be Kim Kardashian. Does anybody in this room disagree with that statement? So if we're going to really help our people, let's start talking about terms and defining things before we make judgment on them. I'll land there.
All right. Thank you, Lloyd. I'll say she's Kim Kardashian because of that tape and because her dad was on the actual Dream Team and O.J. Simpson. He was on the Trial of the Century. So that's why she's Kim Kardashian. The name that the father had being tied to O.J. Simpson and that actual tape that she made as well too. So, but
and they were working with Paris Hilton.
What was that, Mel?
She was working with Paris Hilton. She was Paris Hilton's assistant. So she had that kind of notoriety, that kind of connection.
Well, Paris Hilton came up off of a sex tape as well too. So let's be honest. Ready. Appreciate that, Lloyd. But anybody that wants to speak, I know Mel, you were up here. You had your hand up. DJ, go ahead. You got it. I don't know. DJ may have stepped away from the space. Okay. No problem. Yeah, man, this is some serious business that we got going on with Puffy, Diddy, whatever you want to call them. Some serious issues right here. And like everybody said, I'm surprised he didn't. Months ago, I said that too. I'm like, I don't know why he's hesitating. Why he don't just go ahead and gas up his jet and leave? I'm trying to figure out too now. They're talking about that he offered to sell his private jet, his Miami mansion, and his mother's home for collateral. Like, I would think that he would have all kind of money on hand, liquid. That hey, if I got to go ahead, like, he should be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So I'm just figuring, like, why would you need this?
But see, the way the system works, Total, you can't give them money. You have to give them something like land or something like that to put down on bail, especially when you're dealing with a felonious case that is so major like this one. He would have to put something like that down. Like
so he couldn't. So if his bail was like because you're supposed to put 10% down. So like I'm thinking like if his bail is $500,000, he come in there and he dropped $50,000. Shouldn't it be like that?
But they're not giving him bail at all.
Well, I know they're not giving him bail, but yeah, I know he's not getting it. But they were saying, and I guess that because the article I read that was earlier there, I guess what I was saying that if they were going to give him bail and stuff like that, why did he need to go about trying to basically sell his private jet and houses and it? Like, look, I'm thinking.
Money is not an option. The reason why they wanted those assets, or the reason why he was willing to offer up those assets, because he wanted to show his likelihood for him to return to court and that he wouldn't run. Money, it wasn't a money thing. That's why his children, even the 1-year-old, gave up her passport, because they were showing that if he was released on bail, he won't run.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'll give his house.
Yeah.
He'll give the kids passports, and he'll give that to show that he's willing to return. Because if he don't return, then the kids' passports is up. They take all the house, they take all the land, they get to keep all the money.
I understand. Okay, so that makes sense because you like, yeah, I'm not gonna leave, and I'm putting my mother's house up, up here. Okay, so yeah, that because I'm like, well, I know because when I first heard it, I'm like, well, hold on, I'm like, he's got all kind of money laying around. I noticed, like, it ain't. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, totally. These type of cases, you can't just throw money down. It's not gonna be an option. You have to put something down like that to show that you're willing to come back to court, especially in a major case like this. When you
If they were fair, they would have put him on an ankle monitor. If they were fair, they would have took all his assets, took the passport, and put him on an ankle monitor.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that.
To let him out. Because again, remember, he's innocent. You're innocent until proven guilty. So we're just accusing you of these things. We have no proof, and we can't even say you're guilty. But you know, we want to show your likelihood for you to show up in court.
You see, y'all, it's two different Americas, though. One for black, one for white. Trump is out, Diddy is in. Trump is out, Diddy's in. Remember, I said that earlier in the statement. Two types of Americans. One for black America, one for white America.
This is the thing. Phil, Diddy should have known that. That's why when he was Diddy, when he was out there, take that, the shiny suit man, he should have known that if as a black person, you know they're going to throw you under the jail. So you can't do anything. When you do your business practices and how you move and how you do stuff, you have to be fair and you have to be above board. Because at the end of the day, even if they don't, because the way generational wealth works and the way Hollywood and the media works, if you're a black person, if you're for your people, they do you like they did my Capricorn brother Muhammad Ali. They cut you off in certain ways where they start going after him, his licenses, and he couldn't fight and do anything because he was about his people. And he understood, he overstood the assignment of he's not going to sell out his people for nothing, and he's not going to fight for a country that wouldn't fight for him. But if you sell yourself out, you sell your soul out, you get all the luxuries in the land, and when you think that you know what I mean? Like you're on top of the world. You think you're invincible. You think you can continue to do all these things, and you forget. Like what he said, I'm not black, I'm OJ. You forget that you are a black man in America because you have certain luxuries where certain people don't do things to you, and you get access, and when you go in a room and you get a la carte, you get free stuff, and then you forget who you are. But what they don't understand is the white man never forgets. At the end of the day, he know who you are, and he'll let you know that if you act up, punks jump up to get beat down, and they'll let you know that just like they give it, they take it away. That's why it's important for you not to sell your people out. Because in situations like this, because I do believe what Lloyd was saying in regards to we're assuming that all these allegations are true, and we're not really defining what these victims are. Because a lot of times you have willing participants. Oh well, she giving drugs. Well, I know if I'm a cokehead, I'm going to go to somebody who's going to give me some proof. I'm going to be around a party guy because I know what type of parties he's having. So if I want to partake in that lifestyle, I'm going to be there. I want to get done up in the butt. I want to get all this stuff. I know where to go. Did he got a party? Let's go. Now all of a sudden it's victims. So you have to be very careful. But you have to be very, very careful because it may be some people who wasn't willing participants. It may be some people who was like, nah, I don't like this type of parties. And decided, no, this is not what I want and this is not what I want to do. And we don't have those people that often. We don't have too many people that stand up for what was right, even when nobody is watching. Now, there's this white girl who's immediately she turned down to get the money and she turned down all this other stuff. Everybody else was going along to get along. It's another young lady who filed a lawsuit and said Diddy did this, Diddy did that, but then it's a videotape of her saying he didn't do anything. When you're in the situation and you think this person is making a bend, do you turn a blind eye? Do you hold yourself accountable? Do you not get the riches? This is basically a lesson about right or wrong. You get in your American dream, and what is it worth? And at the end of the day, if black people start really saying it's not worth it for us to sell our soul, because we know we have certain leeches in our community going after certain artists and doing certain things. There was a dude who did a videotape, and he was saying how that they do they get them, and they have a dude in the videotape, and they put them in a compromising situation and do all things so they can sign these contracts and do all this other stuff. Some people sold not for sale. Some people aren't. But you got to understand, you have to it pay the cost to be the boss. If you're going to do those things, you got to understand what comes with it. I'm not saying he's guilty of it. I'm just saying he's accused of these allegations, and it's crazy.
Let me I'm going to get back to you, Aunt Lob. We got a new speaker, but we got Tata up here, and I'm going to get to Lloyd. So I'll get back to you. Let me get to the new speaker real quick. Tata, how you doing tonight?
Hello, hey, Newstoter, hey, guys.
What's up now?
What's up?
You guys, hey, family.
How you doing, sister?
I'm doing good. I wanted to say, there were also a couple of lynchings here in Orlando. I don't know if you guys know. A young man named Navon Baker. This happened October 2020. And they found him hanging near the Rural Camps, the Camp Stadium. Newstoter, you know, where they have the classic around that
Yeah.
time. Okay, so we never know. I don't know what they deemed it as a suicide as well. This young man was 22 years old. And there was another hanging last year. They found a black woman in somewhere near that Washington Shores on the west side of Orlando, near a park area. A lot of black people live on that side. They found her. They said suicide. This was September last year, 2023. And that's still open for investigation. So that is just crazy, you know, with all these so-called suicides of our people. And I also wanted to say, what's his name, Javion, he was just laying on my heart the whole time. And it's just near and dear to me, just so heartbreaking because my son, he's 20 years old and he drives trucks. So he's been wanting to drive since he graduated from high school. So when he went to take the test, the company gave him a position once he finished, you know, got his CDL. They started him as soon as he turned 20 in May. And so I'm glad that he worked for one of the biggest construction companies in the U.S. and he hauled a lot of construction supplies around Florida. And but he comes home every day, so that's kind of a relief with that. But when I heard about Javion, I was sitting on the sofa and I was just sitting here and I'm like just thinking about my son. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then he texted me and he said, Mom, you see why I'm gonna carry? I can't, when I turn 21.
Yeah, tell him to keep that fire with him when he keep that fire on him.
So he said, you see what happened, and I'm sitting here thinking about it when it happened. And, but he drive all around Tampa, Jacksonville, and everywhere. So I'm always checking when he's far out. He'll call me and to call me if he's far out. Because he just started driving. He drove in all these, places, Jacksonville, even in his car in Tampa and everywhere. So he to call me when he's far out, and I've been pounding in his head ever since this happened with Trayvon. That I just been, Jason, his name is Jason, so you got to look out for this, that, I'm a stickler. I'm on here every day, talking to you guys about what's going on out here. So, yeah, so I just, my heart just really broken about this young man. And like Black Majority was saying, he just seemed so, like he was going out of the store, like he was just, happy, from the video clip that I saw. And it's just very strange. And I hope, I just pray for the family. They get through this and get some answers. And as far as P. Diddy, I'm thinking about his children. He have young adults now, his daughters, they went through this nonsense, all of this with their mom and I'm thinking you got kids. Do you think, you had all these kids and they're gonna get grown, they're gonna be grown someday, I don't know what was he thinking all this time, So my mind is just really thinking about the children, and I know they're young adults now, so I'm like, what do people be thinking about? So, but that's all I have to say about that. Thanks for letting me speak.
Thank you, Tata. It's been a minute since you came up here in this. Well, you come up into space all the time, but it's been a minute since we had you come up here and speak.
Because I lost one of my closest cousins, like my big sister.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Beginning of when we buried, except I can't even think right now. My mind is so gone right now. September. So,
Oh, I'm sorry, Tata. I know that's fresh, but prayers to you and your family. I'm sorry to hear that, and definitely we'll keep you in our thoughts and prayers as always. So I'm definitely sorry to hear that, Tata.
thank you.
Glad to hear from you and have you up in the space as well too. You got nice mellow little tone and whatnot, so we love to have you up in here. But
Love you guys.
love you too, sweetie.
I love you, Tata. Praying for your family, sweet.
Everybody throw a prayer hand real quick.
Yeah, definitely hate to hear that. Let me go ahead and get back to Mr. Lloyd. Anybody else that wants to speak? Mel, you up here if you want to speak. Anybody else that wants to speak? Aunt Lyra came back up here, but she must have dropped down. DJ, you were supposed to speak actually, weren't you?
Yeah, well, let Brother Lloyd go with something. I got it. Don't play.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on some of the stuff that Professor said. One of the things that we have to start recognizing is not only what is done to people, but how is it done, and what is the logic? What is law enforcement or the power to be really trying to do when they pull off these big, events? So my point was, the point I'm trying to get to is, why was it news for 3 or 4 days that Diddy's house in California and the one in Miami had been raided? Why would you put that on the news and make that public unless you were trying to convict him in the court of public opinion before he even gets to trial? And that's the way, and we have to start looking at how the game is played. Our people try and go straight with the facts and the morality and the fairness, the justice in it. That's not the way the game is played. The game is played is, can I get 12 votes guilty? And how do I do that? A trial is not long enough to do that. So I'm going to convict you in the court of public opinion before we even arrest you. And our folks have to make sure that we start getting our people on those juries. And we have to teach each other that if you're going to broadcast, you're going to put a press release out, we're raiding his house, news media. We're going to be raiding these 2 properties, be there and film it and then run it for a week on television. You convict pretty much. There are people that can't think critically and say, well, he's guilty because they wouldn't have raided his house. So if I get on jury, he's guilty. And I'm telling all my friends, he's guilty. I don't have a fact. I don't know what they found in the house. I don't know anything. But they put it on TV, he's guilty. We have to start recognizing that and begin to, when we start talking about candidates running and we start supporting people, we need to make sure they understand these policies have to change. You can't raid someone's house, put it on television, and then try them 6 months later. That's not fair. Does that make sense to anybody but me?
No, what you're saying is true, and that's what I've been talking about. They bamboozling our people into thinking negative about ourselves, and of course the people that are us. Like Diddy is a Black American. They want us to think negative about Diddy. Now, and look, I'm not trying to say Diddy is innocent, right? I'm not saying he's an innocent man, but Diddy is a man nonetheless with issues and faults and concerns like the rest of us. Because we all have them. We all have issues. We all have some faults that go along the lines, right? So what you just said, Lord, is very true. Very true. And so therefore, my thing is, they doing this stuff to make him look bad in the court of public opinion, so we can go ahead and say, oh yeah, this Negro is guilty. And they want Black Americans specifically to target him on social media and call him bad. And we can't do that. We can't do that to our own. because we're doing it to ourselves when we do it to him. Because they can do it to you, Black Americans that's in this space. They can do it to you. They can come after you the same way they're doing it to them. I'm going to land right there.
All right. Appreciate that, Professor. Ray, I saw you was having some issues coming up here. I got you, Black, next. Let me go ahead and get Ray and try to fit him in because I see, Ray, you was having some connection issues. What's going on, Ray?
What's going on, everybody? I've downloaded that new iOS update, and I believe it's still got a couple bugs in it. So, yeah, I've been having some technical issues. I'm going to be very brief, though. Someone posted that everyone that Tupac didn't like has been revealed to be a terrible judge of character. That brother really had a good judgment king judgment. So I don't know if it's karma or not, but I mean, it doesn't seem like everyone's lying on Diddy. He's been questioned in a lot of things. So maybe this might be his own karma.
Let's go.
What'd you say, DJ?
Facts. Let's go.
Yeah, it might be. That's why, I always try not to screw people over because karma is real. It does eventually catch back up to you. And if it misses you, it could potentially hit your children. So that's why I've always lived. On the side note, I got my final tonight. Man, y'all pray for it, brother. I keep y'all updated on what grades I got. I'm going to land there.
All right, Ray. Best of luck to you. Bring input. See if you can make the honor roll. Best of luck to you. Let me go. Let us go ahead and get to Black Majority State. We're going to be back tomorrow night as well, guys. I got a space plan for tomorrow night, so we will be back tomorrow night just to let you guys know. So I hadn't even revealed the title of it because it's going to be wild, though, but definitely tune in tomorrow night. Go ahead, Black. You got it.
Before you go on, Newstoter, just so you know, for whatever reason, I'm not getting any of your notifications. I don't know if that's...
Oh, really?
Experiencing that. Yeah, I'm not getting them.
I post, but I tweet them out and stuff like that, and then everybody retweets them. So maybe I'll just try to send it to you straight to your DM, just inbox you it, so I can try to get it that way. So we can go ahead and get it to you. But yeah, I tweeted out during the day, and then I send it to the little DMs and stuff, and then I'll retweet it out, and everybody retweets them out and stuff like that. So we'll definitely try to go ahead and get you get it in, and I might even start tagging some people I don't like tagging people that much. Every now and then I tag, but I don't really like tagging that much. But
hey, Ray, I'm about to start another text chat, so I'll throw you up in there. It's on space specifically, as a matter of fact. So ain't no one needing text back on it. You know what I'm saying? It's just on for the space that they need. You know what I mean? So that way we know what time we start, and then another space go on or whatever who's going. Go ahead.
But yeah, let me go ahead and get to Black Majority State. Go ahead, Black, you got it.
Okay, I think his attorney released a letter, and in that letter, along with the houses and everything else, the claim, they talked about $50 million as a cash securement for his release. That was earlier in the day, so.
Just to answer the question on that, the DA deemed him a flight risk. That's why he got to post all that up. And his lawyer said he'll go on ankle monitor. But that's up for a judge to decide. That's the reason why I raised my hand. I guess nobody knew that or whatever the case was. But the DA and the prosecutor or whatever, they deemed him Puffy a flight risk. So I don't see how that could be. It's fuck that. He got a known face, you know what I'm saying, unless he planned on getting some plastic surgery, which I seriously doubt, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, go ahead, Black.
Okay, and then the other thing I was going to say was when they did the raid on his houses, the way the federal government operates is they get a warrant, but and people may want to do research on this. It's either from a judge or it's from a grand jury to get the warrant. And so that's usually when they actually raid the property, it's because they already have enough evidence that shows whatever these charges that they have are legitimate, and there is some evidence to back it, which is how they end up getting a warrant. Now, we could say whatever, it is what it is, racist country, yada, yada, yada. Like, actually how the system is supposed to operate. And because they were doing these raids in multiple locations, it's very likely that they did get a grand jury warrant in order to go there. And then they were really, more than likely, they probably already had a witness list, which is enough to convict a person. And they were really looking to corroborate the information they already had. Now, if they find new information, it is what it is. The fact that he had those weapons in whatever location they found the weapons, I think is a sign that he was overly comfortable and thought, for whatever reason, not so much that he was untouchable, but he never envisioned the fact that they would come into these properties and find whatever they found and be able to tie them to that. Because those guns alone with the defiled or defaced serial numbers, I mean, those are federal charges in and of themselves. So I think it's over in terms of any idea that he's going to be a free person beyond whatever the sentencing ends up being. And he's likely to cop a plea because that's how the feds typically operate. They're going to give him a really good deal to essentially, take the guilt and not necessarily have to name other people or any of that. Just say that I did this, I'm guilty. I sat in federal court with family members, so I know the process of how it goes. You stand up, you say, I did this, I did that. It's a pre-written thing that your attorney and the prosecutor have agreed to. And then you get whatever time is laid out. And usually that's the best time that you're ever going to see. If you actually go to trial in federal court and you lose, he's probably never coming home. So I don't think there's any realm of reality where he actually tries to go to court and tries to fight these charges. If he's smart, he would get to the plea process as quickly as possible so that all this time is calculated and is accounted for, so that if he gets 5 years or whatever it ends up being, he can get home quicker. But if he tries to fight it and it takes longer, then he's going to spend much longer time in prison because they're not letting him come home.
Appreciate that, Black. Appreciate that. We'll take a couple more speakers and we're not going to be up here too long. I see we had a new speaker that came up here, Santa. Did it say Santa? Did you? Santa Morte.
Yeah, hi. How you guys doing? I'm just listening. For y'all.
Okay. No problem.
Hey, let me go and get it in real quick. I know we're about to shut it down, so it is what it is.
Hey, let me let Lloyd go, and then I'm going to let you go, and we're going to shut it down.
All right.
Go ahead, Lloyd.
Yeah, I believe it was Black that just spoke. I have to say we need to challenge that. I'm not going to say he's wrong, but I'm going to say that system is wrong. Because at the end of the day, if you're willing to give somebody 3 years if they take a plea, but they say, no, I won't going to go to court because I didn't do this, then why should they ever get more than 3 years? Because now that's basically a hammer over at your head, or a gun at your head, saying you're going to say you're guilty whether you are or not. And that should not be that way. That's completely unfair. So you understand what I mean? If you're willing to give me 3 years if I cop a plea, then why, if I don't cop a plea, is it 20 years? That's just wrong. What are you? I mean, and I've been in the situation under federal charges. I beat them because I said, do what you have to, but I'm not saying that I did something I didn't do. And they never took it to trial. For 7 years, they would not take it to trial. And since we're talking about that, just an aside, if you're ever arrested either locally, by the state, or by the feds, do not sign. They're going to put a thing called a speedy trial waiver in front of you. Do not sign it. Do not sign it. Your attorney's going to tell you, well, you need to sign it because I need time to build your case, and so that's the way we do these, so that we all have time to put our stuff together. No, the law says that you have to be tried within 6 months. My attorney, when they arrested me, I freaked out. I didn't know what to do, and my attorney said, sign this paper, and I signed it. I was under the indictment went for 7 years before it was resolved. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't. I lost everything because I signed that piece of paper. So I'm just telling y'all, don't sign a speedy trial paper ever. But think about this. The question on the table is, if you take a plea, you get 3. If you don't, you get 20. What kind of position does that put you in? Think about that.
That's the white supremacy system. That's how they designed the system, mainly for us. And of course, we already know that they designed that system just for us, to put us under that kind of scope.
And we have to start changing the system. That is why, whenever you hear about a trial against a black person or an American freedman, or we'll say a black person in America, and it's an all-white jury, we need to be picketing that trial. Because until we start, like I live in a city where they put the mayor in prison for, like, I think he got 8, 10, 12 years because he told them after Hurricane Katrina he was not going to let them take 66% of the city's footprint, all black, 95% black. He was not going to let them turn that into green space and sell it to Donald Trump. And they said, okay, you're going to jail. Now this man, Ray Nagin, he controlled, after Katrina, $136 billion. Not one penny could be spent unless he signed off on it. They sent him to prison for $500,000. Think about that. $136 billion, and they claim you stole, you misappropriated $500,000. And the black folks on the jury voted guilty. I'm sorry, all I have to hear is 136 billion, and you're telling me 500. You can only find 500,000. He is not guilty. No. Does that? I know that if you steal $1, that's wrong. But we're not talking about right or wrong. We're talking about, is it logical? Is it logical? Or do we just buy into that court of public opinion thing? Like one of the charges Ray Nagin got on was that he used a city credit card to take his wife out to dinner for their anniversary. Well, okay, he may have done that, but let me ask you this. Is he not the mayor 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, as long as he's in office? So if he's out, can a mayor tell a citizen of his municipality, I'm on vacation today, I'm at dinner with my wife, and I'm not talking to constituents today? Can he do that? Or does that become the news story? Mayor doesn't want to talk to the constituents. And we buy into the crazy. He's not to be guilty. They wouldn't have put this on television. $500,000. And the $500,000 was really not $500,000. What he did was, he set, when Katrina happened, there were 40,000 homes that were just destroyed. That meant that there was a lot of work out here, a lot of opportunities. And his kids got together and decided to open up a stone place for granite and marble and tile to sell to people that are rebuilding their homes. Going to be pretty lucrative, don't you think? Okay, so Ray called up, Mayor Nagin called up Home Depot and got a meeting with the Home Depot people for his kids. They said that the kids made around $500,000, and that was the $500,000. and he went to jail for like 7 or 8 years. Does that make any sense to you?
No, not really. Lloyd, I'm going to go ahead because we're going to get ready to wrap it up. I'm going to go ahead and get to DJ. I appreciate you tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get ready. Let DJ say something, and we're going to close it out, like I say, tomorrow. But it's been a minute since we had you in the space, Lloyd, so I'm glad to have you come up in here and speak tonight, and hope to have you back in here another time whenever you get time to come up in here as well, too. I know everybody has busy schedules and they're doing things, so, whenever
Well,
you
you really probably tomorrow. Let's see how interesting the topic is. Might show up tomorrow.
Oh, it's I hadn't even created the space, but I already know what I'm gonna just do what I normally do and take an article right off the site, and I'm gonna make it into an actual title. So it'll be pretty interesting. I'll go ahead around about 10 o'clock, 11. So, and I'll tweet out the actual space for tomorrow night. But it is gonna be an interesting space, I believe.
Well, thanks for letting me talk so much tonight, man. I appreciate it. You go ahead and get to the next person, but thank you.
Oh, no problem, no problem. I try to, if I wouldn't get ready to close it out, I would let you go on a little bit longer as well, too. But I'm gonna close it out. I gotta give a shout out to my girl, Goddess Michelle, because she sent an actual cash app early today before a space even started. So shout out to you, Goddess Michelle. Shout out to you, sister. As always, I definitely appreciate your support, and you do always show support and love as always. So I just want to go ahead and give you that shout out. I have not forgotten you. I know we weren't doing any spaces, anything at the time, but you did send something. So I just want to let you know that I do appreciate it and I do thank you. Let me go ahead and get to DJ and Professor. If you want to say something real quick, give y'all about 2 minutes or so, and then we're going to go ahead and close this thing out, and we'll be back tomorrow night.
Go ahead, DJ.
Trying to get this microphone on. Oh, Stephanie, sister, don't be coming up here, sister, trying to get it proper, sister.
I see Stephanie up here. I may have to let Stephanie. I may have to let, if Stephanie trying to come up here, I may let Stephanie get a word in before we close it out.
Come on, 60 seconds. Come on, get up.
Yeah, come on up here, Stephanie. If you're gonna come, and we'll let you go ahead and get something in, because I know Stephanie be working and she comes in when she can. But go ahead, DJ. You got it. Okay, Stephanie's up here. Is she? I keep seeing her pop up, but then she must have popped back now. Is she up here?
No, she up here. Yeah, I think she up here. Yeah, there she go.
Okay, now I see her. Stephanie, did you want to say something real quick?
Yeah, you notice Twitter got the delay in it, yo.
She's disconnecting. I don't know.
Our phone janky too. So,
Well, go ahead, DJ, and if she come back up here, I'll go ahead and bring her up here. But go.
Right there again. I think Steph, you up here?
Hey, salute to you guys.
What's up, Stephanie?
How you guys feeling? I just wanted to offer my condolences to Tata, and because I know what that feels like. So I just want to offer my condolences, and I hope she's, I just pray for her, and I think we all should. But as far as Diddy is concerned, I'm not going to demonize him in public, but I do have my gripes with him. A lot of people in New York have their gripes with him, and he is a Black American. His father was a Harlem gangster by the name of Melvin Combs, and his father used to run rampant in Harlem back in the days, and somebody mysteriously murdered his father years back. So, that his murder still remains unsolved to this day. So, he's always had that thing about him that, he was that man. It's just a lot of, he's getting, some people say it's karma because a lot of the things that he did, and a lot of people feel like he did some things that, that caused Biggie's murder. So, a lot of people still feel a certain way about that, and plus he ripped a lot of people off in their contracts and stuff. So, of course, you can look at 50 Cent's page and you can look at Mace's page and hear what they got to say. They're very vocal about it. As far as
you on that?
So far as Javion Magee, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but I really, really, really wish they would take a deeper look into it, because I don't think a Black man is going to hang himself from a tree like that. And I don't know for certain. I don't know if somebody's saying, hey, can you bring me some rope? Meet me at this location, or it could be one of his buddies. We don't know. It could be an inside job with these things. Looking at the truck driver video from the other day, talking about some white guys was following him around while he was getting ready to head to his truck. So there's a lot of things that come into play that we really, really, really need to be careful about, especially if we're driving alone and we don't have a partner with us. You know what I'm saying? So I think they need to take a deeper dive into it. And that's basically all I'm going to have to say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Miss Stephanie. DJ, Professor, real quick, give y'all about 2 minutes and we're going to close this thing out.
I'm going in next phase. But now let me stop real quick. So rest in peace, Javion Magee. I don't know, man. I don't think he hung himself because there ain't even our type of way when we do take ourselves out, suicidally. We don't need to do that. So we understand the stigma around with our ancestors. So that right there is a lot within itself. Also, what I don't understand is, right, because he's so young, I think 22, right, 23, something in that area. What experience does he really have being on the road? Because I don't got a CDL license. But one thing I do got is roadie experience. You know what I'm saying? I'm the sidekick. I'm rocking in the truck. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's go get this load done and get the hell back home. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know, man. How long did he have a CDL for? And being from Chicago ain't North Carolina, bro. You're in a different world once you cross that state borderline. This is why, even within New Jersey, I'm not leaving Essex County if I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to other certain parts of Essex County if I don't have to. Why? Because it's basically a sundown town, or it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's a bunch of cones there. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep it simple. You know what I mean? East Orange, no disrespect. White cops used to bust your tail. Oh, you think you trying to get up against the car now? You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, go down to East Orange. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I know he ain't hung himself. We know that. So it's like, what's next? And you see the family going off for him. So it's like, yeah, we with your family. Meet your family. It was something else I wanted to say too. You know what I mean? That had to do with trucks. It is what it is. We'll move on. But yeah, Diddy, my opinion, guilty. Not just based off of what the accusations is that, being in the music business all my life. You know what I'm saying? We heard these accusations well before there was World Star Hip Hop, AOL. You know what I'm saying? We was hearing it then. You know what I'm saying? So you got to go all the way back then. So get in the Jumbotron, get in the chat. Look up the Diddy Bop effect. I coined that. Your boy said one. Know what the Diddy Bop effect is, because it's happening in real time. You're seeing it. You know what I mean? But good night. Next phase.
Okay, so next phase, as DJ said, because we the late night crew. We the extension of our brother Newstoter right there. Whatever we talk about in this space, we're gonna go in. We're gonna go in that second space because we can cuss. Okay, I just want y'all to know that they can cuss in the second space.
I'm not gonna come up there either. Y'all just cash app.
Hey, they do. Yeah, y'all can't hit the cash out, but they do a lot of cursing in that space. So definitely, definitely check that space out. It's no holds barred. So definitely come through tomorrow night in the spaces. And come through. I see the smiley faces. I see Stephanie. I see Amia as well. To Amia, you like to curse too, so you definitely come on up there and get it in with them because they love to hear it up in there as well too. So yeah, so definitely come through.
I am not gonna
touch. But you're a strong black woman. We know that, sister.
When you say curse, did you mean like hoodoo, voodoo?
No, man, come on, Frank. Don't be putting no voodoo.
No, we don't mean no, we don't.
Watch your mouth.
No, we not talking about we not talking about putting a rook. We not talking about putting a root on nobody, nothing like that. Now we not talking about that. We talking about as the Southerners will say down here down south, cuss words. So that's what we talking about. Yeah.
Right. We do the cussing and. But hey, listen, if you ain't gonna cuss us with some with the money spirit, please. If we broke. For money. Come on, man. For real. So sister Sam, to break it down, this space is our informative night space, and then the late night space is the space where you kind of let it all hang out. There you go.
Okay, I was just wondering, just checking it out.
No problem.
Spaces are informative.
And we about to start. We about to start the late night. Yeah, we about to start that late night space right now. So then we're gonna get ready to close this out, Santa, and you can go check them out. That's gonna be the day. Now it's informative in there as well too, but it's just a little bit. I'm not gonna say that this is. Yeah. So on that note, guys, we will see y'all tomorrow night, and peace, and thank everybody for coming out, support, and check out the late night space because it's about to start in just a few minutes. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, and peace.
Now I'm about to eat my sandwich. Give me a second.
Thank you.
Peace and blessings, everybody.
So what time you starting it up, DJ?
No, I'm playing, but I do got a sandwich though. Let's go.
Okay. Well, that's what's up. Peace.